I'm Sid. I'm the CEO and co-founder at GitLab. I'm here with the CEO Shadows for this week. And we're discussing something, and that is the don't they have something better to do suggestion. I found that as the company scales, more and more executive and management time is dealing with people that have suggestions and complaints. I don't think that's scalable, like 1,000 people, 10,000 people. At some point, it's not possible for a single person to receive comments from everyone. And we got to find ways to deal with that. At some point, we might say, hey, this MR, if you have comments to it, go to your manager. This is commenting manager and up. So first, you have to convince your manager, etc. That might be a way to scale. But sometimes I've seen the behavior where it's like, doesn't this person have something better to do than complain here? And I want to remind everyone at GitLab, we don't measure your input, we measure your output. So if someone is just giving a ton of suggestions or disagreeing, that is because they care about something. And I think it's invalid in multiple ways to say, does someone have something better to do? First of all, it's none of your business. They allocate their own time, and apparently they care about this. And the second thing is everyone can contribute, and everyone can contribute. It's not always going to be stuff you agree with. And we want to make sure that people feel heard and that they belong at the company. But we also don't owe everyone an explanation for everything. Sometimes you close out like, hey, I heard you, but I disagree, and that's why I'm closing it out. That's okay. But what I don't want is that people get penalized for speaking up. That is very detrimental. And I think everyone in leadership at GitLab should never retaliate or even complain about people speaking up. They speak up because they care, and it's a great thing that they care about the company. Any questions, Hila?
Yeah, so there are two things you just mentioned, right? The second part is people shouldn't be punished or evaluated performance based on they speak up, and everyone can contribute. I get that. The first part is also, as we scale, we may need to have a process for people to contribute or comment.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of changes that happen at GitLab that don't generate a ton of comments, but if something is controversial, like endpoint management or anything regarding compensation, sometimes there's just a lot of comments. And if you're on the receiving end, it sometimes feels a bit like a filibuster. And it's also sometimes that the tone of the comments is not very constructive. Now, regarding the tone, managers at the company should look at those conversations too. And if they see a report saying something that isn't constructive, they should intervene and help. It shouldn't be only on the person on the receiving end. Managers are responsible for their reports. If it's about the volume, maybe some MRs, we say, hey, this is now 30 comments. We're starting to see a pattern and some repetition. From now on, to ensure that it's adding something to the conversation, you need your manager to post. So everyone can make a suggestion, but you need your manager's buy-in, and we could even move that up level. Suppose we're a 100,000 person company, it can be a couple of levels. We want to preserve everyone can contribute, but on the other hand, like you cannot have 1,000 to 1 conversation. It's not practical. And that, I think that's for a very small percentage of the changes at GitLab. And there's different ways to communicate. There's AMAs, there's different ways in which we can solve that. So yeah, it's a couple of ideas bundled into one, and it's kind of up to you how to unbundle this and integrate this with our values.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.